They say it takes a village to raise a child, a community of school teachers, traders, farmers, spiritual leaders, mothers, nurses. But this isn't your typical community. These community members are spread throughout Africa, and their mission is not only to raise a child, but to stop one from dying every single minute. These are the people who form the faith-based volunteer-driven network that is Nets for Life. Nathan isn't just a teacher, and Sawala isn't only a trader. They are volunteers. Kiro is a nurse and a Nets for Life trainer. Madam is a teacher and a trained volunteer who has experienced the devastation of malaria on a personal level. These are just 4 of the 97,000 volunteers and government health workers that have been trained by Nets for Life to date. Because of the work of people like these, lives are being saved, deaths prevented every day. And in small villages like this one, you can feel the joy, the happiness that comes from passionate dedication, a commitment to eliminate the biggest child killer in Africa, malaria. Universal net coverage is one of the most effective ways of preventing and breaking the parasite cycle. And in 2006, a group of Episcopalians was inspired by the idea of using the church infrastructure to teach malaria prevention and deliver nets in the isolated communities it served. Nets for Life was born. To date, Nets for Life has distributed over 18 million insecticide-treated nets in 17 countries across Africa and educated over 34 million people regarding malaria prevention and treatment. And these nets are making a massive difference. But they don't stand alone. Many people do not understand malaria, and without education, the distribution of nets is often fruitless. Nets for Life aims to instill a net culture, teaching communities how to use and maintain the life-saving nets. Because a net without the understanding of its function is like a book to the illiterate. Although it is a simple act, the simple act of putting up a net, it is a complex process. To support the physical distribution of nets, education is paramount to the success of Nets for Life. Apart from distributing nets, volunteers educate people that malaria is a mosquito-borne disease, what the symptoms look like, and how to access treatment before it's too late. They teach that by sleeping under nets every single night, the dread disease can be prevented and eventually eliminated altogether. And when they have been trained, community members become powerful activists. They are no longer just women and young people. They are no longer only mothers, fathers, and children. They are the guardians of the health of the community. They are the eyes and ears, the hearts and souls, the hands and feet of Nets for Life.
We carry out something we call the participatory learning approach. We take the people through a procedure, step-by-step procedure, to the point that they understand that, oh, actually what I was doing or the practice that I was involved wasn't the best. And most of the time what we do is we get the opinion leaders involved. We channel our message through the women, we channel it through children in school so that when they go home they can reinforce the message.
Nets for Life is a unique partnership between the private sector, the public sector, and faith-based organizations. With the church often being the only functional institutions in remote locations, they have the ability to unite communities and bring them together in the fight against malaria. Cross-denominational and interfaith partnerships strengthen the fight. As a faith-based organization, Nets for Life relies on the passion and commitment of communities. Community leaders, NGOs and corporations like foundational partner, the Coca-Cola Africa Foundation, to implement integrated malaria prevention programs to promote maternal, neonatal and child health. But once-off education often has a short-lived impact, and ongoing training and reminders are needed to ensure that commitment to elimination is constantly top of mind. Ongoing monitoring and evaluation is vital to measure the impact of an increasingly integrated approach and share this with leadership at the highest levels to influence national malaria policies. The impact? Happier, healthier communities, children who will become adults, parents who will see their children reach their full potential. So there is hope. A decade ago, an African child died every 30 seconds. Now that number has been halved because of prevention and treatment. Millions of lives are being saved. Continuing the good work that has been done to date is vital. We can continue to save lives and eventually eliminate this dread disease. But we cannot do it alone, and we are at a tipping point. If the process stops now, then malaria will resurge and it will be worse. It will be stronger and more aggressive. So our community members need to continue to save children, one every minute, and that remains one child too many. One net properly used will mean the difference between life and death. One person's understanding of how malaria is spread might be the final nail in the coffin of this deadly plague. If you can imagine an Africa without malaria, you can imagine an Africa bursting with the potential of a joyous, healthy nation. If you can imagine it, then you can help to achieve it.
Join us in the fight against malaria.